Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, feeling good, ready to take on the day. You've got your plans, your goals, your energy lined up. And then someone cuts you off in traffic. Someone at work makes a rude comment. Someone in your family says something that stings. Suddenly, that peace you had, gone. That fire in your heart, drowned out by anger, frustration, and irritation. Now, here's a question I want you to wrestle with today. Why do we allow other people to steal our peace so easily? Why do we hand over our happiness, our mood, our entire day to someone who doesn't even matter, to someone who might not even know they bothered us? You see, most of us live like emotional puppets. Somebody pulls the string and we dance. Somebody presses a button and we explode. And the truth is, if you can be angered easily, you can be controlled easily. Let that sink in, because every single time you allow someone to get under your skin, you're handing them power over your life. But what if you could change that? What if you could walk through this world unshaken, untouchable, unbothered? Imagine being so grounded, so centered, that no insult could move you. No disrespect could rattle you. No negativity could pull you out of your peace. What would your life look like if you never got angry, never let anyone disturb your spirit? That's what we're going to talk about today, because the secret isn't in changing the world, it's in mastering yourself. And once you do, you'll discover the kind of freedom most people never experience. When life comes at you, it will never ask for permission. People are going to say things, people are going to do things. And many times it will not be fair, it will not be kind, it will not be gentle. The truth is, you can't stop people from talking. You can't stop people from being rude, disrespectful, or careless with their words and actions. But you can't stop yourself from giving them the one thing they're really after. Your reaction. Think about it for a moment. Every time you get angry, every time you lash out, every time you allow someone to push your buttons, what you're really doing is surrendering control. You're saying, here, take my peace, take my joy, take my focus. And they walk away with the satisfaction of knowing they got to you. They disturbed you. They made you bend. But what happens if you choose not to give them that? What happens if, instead of reacting, you pause, you breathe, and you respond with intention? That, my friends, is where real power begins. You see, the difference between reacting and responding is the difference between being a slave to your emotions and being the master of your life. Reaction is automatic. It's fast. It's raw. It's unfiltered. Someone cuts you off in traffic and your hands grip the wheel. Your blood pressure shoots up. Your mouth opens with words you'll regret. That's reaction. Response, on the other hand, is chosen. It's deliberate. It's when you say, yes, that just happened, but I'm not going to let it rob me of my peace. It's when you recognize that your power lies not in what happens to you, but in how you decide to handle it. I want you to think about a thermostat and thermometer. A thermometer simply reacts. It rises when it's hot. It falls when it's cold. It has no control. It is at the mercy of the environment. But a thermostat sets the temperature. It dictates the atmosphere. When it's too cold, it makes it warmer. When it's too hot, it cools things down. Which one are you? Are you a thermometer, letting people and circumstances dictate your mood? Or are you a thermostat, setting the tone regardless of what's happening around you? Now, I know some of you are thinking, but you don't understand what they said to me. You don't understand what they did. And you're right. I don't know your personal story. But here's what I do know. Holding on to anger, reacting with rage, snapping back at people, it doesn't change them. It only changes you. It poisons your spirit. It drains your energy. It takes you off course. You can scream, you can shout, you can get red in the face. But at the end of the day, you've only handed them the satisfaction of knowing they got inside your head. When you learn to respond instead of react, you take back your freedom. You start to recognize that other people's behavior is a reflection of them, not of you. Their rudeness doesn't mean you are less. Their insult doesn't make you small. Their negativity doesn't diminish your light. All it means is they're carrying something heavy and they tried to drop it on you. But you don't have to pick it up. You don't have to carry it with you. You can smile, you can breathe, you can let it pass by like a storm cloud that never touches the ground. Let me ask you this. How many days of your life have you wasted being angry at someone who didn't even deserve a second of your time? How many hours have you sat there replaying the argument in your head, thinking of all the things you should have said? Meanwhile, that person has already moved on. They're not even thinking about you. But you're still burning up inside. You're still giving them space in your mind, rent-free. Doesn't that sound crazy? Why give someone that much control? This is why mastering your response is one of the greatest skills you will ever learn. It requires awareness. It requires discipline. It requires you to take a pause, even if it's just for 3 seconds, and ask yourself, if I react right now, who does that benefit? If I explode right now, what do I lose? That pause, that breath, that moment of reflection is where your strength lies. It is the space where wisdom can enter, where patience can flow, where peace can remain untouched. Now, don't mistake this for weakness. Choosing not to react doesn't mean you're soft. It doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. It means you're strong enough to protect your energy. It means you've built such a strong foundation within yourself that no one else can shake it. The lion does not roar every time a dog barks. The eagle does not come down from the sky to argue with crows. Why? Because they know their power. They know their worth. They know their focus is too precious to waste on noise. And you need to live the same way. When you master the power of response, you stop being tossed around like a leaf in the wind. You stop letting every insult, every disrespect, every petty action throw you off course. Instead, you move with intention. You stay grounded. You protect your peace. And slowly, people start to notice. They'll wonder, why doesn't this bother them? Why aren't they mad? Why do they still carry themselves with calm and confidence? That's when you know you've elevated. That's when you know you've grown. So the next time someone tries to get under your skin, I want you to smile. Not because you agree with them, not because you approve of what they did, but because you recognize what's really happening. They're testing you. They're trying to hand you their anger, their pain, their negativity, and you have the choice to take it or to leave it right where it is. Respond with calm. Respond with silence. Respond with wisdom. Because at the end of the day, your response is your power. And the moment you master that, no one, no matter who they are, can ever control you again. Every single one of us has heard words that cut deep, words that stung, words that lingered long after they were spoken. Maybe it came from someone you loved, maybe from a stranger, maybe from someone you respected. And for days, weeks, sometimes even years, those words play in your head like a broken record, an insult, a criticism, a disrespect. And the more you repeat it to yourself, the heavier it feels. The question is, why do we let someone else's words define who we are? Here's the truth. When people insult you, 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with you. It's about them, their pain, their insecurity, their fear, their jealousy. It's leaking out of them in the form of sharp words. And if you don't reframe it, you'll pick up their poison and carry it around as if it belongs to you. But once you learn to redefine insults, they lose their power. They no longer become daggers. They become reflections, mirrors, showing you not your weakness, but theirs. Think about it. A confident, happy, secure person has no need to tear others down. People who are truly at peace don't go around spreading negativity. The only reason someone tries to insult you is because they feel small, and the only way they can feel taller is by trying to bring you down. If you see it that way, the insult no longer wounds you, it exposes them. Instead of thinking, they hurt me, you begin to think they just revealed themselves. Well, let me give you an example. Imagine a person at work says to you, you're not good enough for this job. You don't have what it takes. Now, the old you might react with anger, self-doubt, frustration. You replay it in your head, wondering if maybe they're right. But if you reframe it, you'll see what's really happening. That person probably feels threatened by you. Maybe your work ethic reminds them of what they're not doing. Maybe your growth exposes their lack of growth. So they lash out, they try to cut you with words. But you smile because you know the truth. Their insult isn't proof of your weakness. It's proof of your strength. How many dreams have died because someone believed in insult? How many people stopped chasing their goals because somebody told them, you'll never make it? How many gifts went unused because a teacher, a parent, a boss, or even a stranger said, "You're not good enough"? Think about that. People hand out their opinions like candy, but that doesn't mean you have to eat it. Just because someone says it doesn't make it truth. You have the power to decide what words you accept and what words you reject. Now, here's the shift I want you to make. Every time someone insults you, instead of letting it break you, let it build you. Instead of hearing, "You can't," let it fuel you to prove that you can. Instead of hearing, "You're not enough," let it remind you that you are more than enough. Insults can either be walls that block you or bricks you use to build higher. The choice is yours. There's an old saying, "Don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from." Isn't that powerful? If you wouldn't trust them to guide your life, why would you trust them to define your worth? If you wouldn't let them write your story, why let them hold the pen? Stop giving so much weight to people who haven't earned it. I want you to picture this. Someone walks up to you and tries to hand you a gift, but it's not a gift you want. It's ugly. It's heavy. It's wrapped in negativity. Do you have to take it? No. You can smile and say, "No, thank you." That's exactly what an insult is. Someone hands you their pain, their bitterness, their insecurity, dressed up in words. You don't have to accept it. You can leave it right there in their hands. And when you do, it doesn't touch you. It doesn't bother you. It rolls off you because you know it doesn't belong to you. Think about some of the greatest people who ever lived. Leaders, inventors, creators, visionaries. Almost every one of them was insulted, mocked, doubted. People told them they were crazy. People laughed at their ideas. People said it couldn't be done. If they had believed those insults, the world would be a very different place. Light bulbs wouldn't exist. Airplanes wouldn't exist. Some of the greatest movements of justice and freedom wouldn't exist. Progress is always met with insult because mediocrity can't stand to see greatness rise. So the next time someone insults you, smile. Smile, not because it feels good in the moment, but because you understand what it means. It means you're doing something worth noticing. It means you're making waves. It means you've got something inside you that bothers people who have settled for less. And instead of letting their words stop you, you let them strengthen you. You have to build a filter in your mind. When words come in, you ask yourself, does this define me? Does this help me? Does this serve me? If the answer is no, you discard it. You don't let it into your heart. You don't let it plant a seed, because once you let that seed take root, it grows into doubt, insecurity, and fear. But if you reject it, if you redefine it, it never grows. You remain unshaken, untouched, unbothered. At the end of the day, people can only give you what they carry. A person full of love will give love. A person full of peace will give peace. But a person full of bitterness will hand you bitterness, and a person full of anger will hand you anger. You get to decide whether you take it or leave it. That is your choice. And that is your freedom. So the next time someone says something negative about you, don't flinch. Don't react. Just remind yourself, this is not about me. This is about them. Their insult is not my truth. Their words do not define my destiny. And as long as you remember that, you'll never be broken by someone else's voice again. Life will always test you. People will always test you. Circumstances will always test you. And if you walk through this world without building emotional armor, every little thing will cut you, bruise you, wound you. You'll spend your days reacting to every insult, every disappointment, every setback. But if you build yourself from the inside out, if you master your mind, your emotions, your spirit, suddenly the same things that once broke you no longer even touch you. That's the power of emotional armor. See, most of us spend time strengthening our bodies. We go to the gym, we lift weights, we run, we eat clean, and that's good. But tell me this, how much time do you spend strengthening your mind? How much time do you spend building resilience, discipline, patience? Because if you only train your body and neglect your inner world, you may look strong on the outside, but the smallest word can crush you on the inside. True strength begins in the mind. Imagine for a moment a soldier going to battle without armor, exposed, vulnerable. Every arrow, every strike, every blow lands directly. That's what life looks like when you have no self-mastery. You're exposed to every criticism, every betrayal, every disappointment. But when you build emotional armor, those same arrows hit you and bounce off. People still talk. Problems still come. Life still throws punches. But you remain standing. So how do you build this kind of armor? It begins with daily discipline. You cannot master your emotions by accident. You can't hope to stay calm, centered, and strong without putting in the work. Every single morning, you need to train your mind before you step into the world. Because once you leave your house, life is coming for you. Negativity is waiting. Stress is waiting. Pressure is waiting. If you haven't armored up, you'll fold. But if you have, you'll walk through the fire and not get burned. That's why I tell people, your mornings are sacred. When you wake up, don't just reach for your phone and let the world pour in. That's like opening your front door and letting strangers dump their garbage inside your living room. Start your day with silence, with gratitude, with focus. Seek affirmations over yourself. I am strong. I am calm. I am unshaken. I am focused. Do you know how powerful it is to hear your own voice remind you of who you are? That is armor. Meditation, prayer, journaling, reading. All of these are tools to sharpen your mind and protect your spirit. And it doesn't matter which one you choose. What matters is that you choose something that grounds you before the storm of the day hits. Because storms will come. That is not optional. But how you face them, that is where mastery comes in. Let me tell you this. Anger is often the sign of an undisciplined mind. Frustration is often the sign of an untrained heart. People say that person made me so angry. No, they didn't. They triggered something in you that you never trained yourself to master. Think about it. If you squeeze an orange, what comes out? Orange juice. Why? Because that's what's inside. So when life squeezes you, when pressure hits you, what comes out of you? Is it anger? Is it bitterness? Or is it patience, wisdom, calm? That depends entirely on what you've been putting inside yourself every day. And here's the beautiful part. No one can build this armor for you. Nobody can gift you discipline. Nobody can hand you self-mastery. You have to forge it day after day, choice after choice, practice after practice. Just like lifting weights builds muscles, choosing calm builds peace. Just like training your body builds strength, training your mind builds resilience. You have to train because life will test you when you least expect it. You ever notice how some people fall apart over the smallest thing while others go through the worst storms and still carry themselves with grace? What's the difference? Armor. The strong ones built their foundation before the storm came. They didn't wait until the moment of chaos to prepare. They armored up long before. That's why they don't break. That's why they can stand tall when others fall. Now, don't mistake emotional armor for being numb. I'm not telling you to shut down your feelings. I'm not telling you to be cold, heartless, or detached. No. Emotional armor doesn't block you from feeling. It protects you from being controlled by those feelings. It allows you to feel the sting without letting it wound you. It allows you to feel the pressure without letting it crush you. It allows you to feel the fire without letting it consume you. That's the difference. And here's something else. Emotional armor doesn't mean you avoid pain. It means you know how to handle it. Pain will still come. Disappointments will still come. Loss will still come. But instead of falling apart, you'll process it. You'll learn from it. And you'll keep moving. Because self-mastery teaches you this truth. Nothing outside of you has the power to destroy you unless you hand it that power. So the next time someone disrespects you, instead of snapping, remind yourself, I'm armored up. Their words don't penetrate me. The next time a problem hits, instead of collapsing, remind yourself, I've trained for this. I can handle this. The next time you feel that anger rising, instead of reacting, remind yourself, I control my emotions. They don't control me. That's how you live untouchable. That's how you live unbothered. That's how you walk through this world with power. At the end of the day, life is not about avoiding the arrows. It's about being so armored, so prepared, so centered, that when they come, they don't pierce you. They fall to the ground harmless, and the only way to get there is through self-mastery. Not once in a while. Not only when it's convenient, but every single day when no one is watching, when no one is applauding, when no one is validating you, because that's where greatness is built. Build your armor, build it through discipline, build it through patience, build it through daily practices that protect your peace. Because once you've mastered yourself, once you've armored your mind and your heart, there is nothing, no insult, no setback, no circumstance that can ever break you again. One of the greatest traps human beings fall into is the need to prove themselves, the need to have the last word, the need to show somebody that we are right and they are wrong. And for most people, this desire is so strong that they will sacrifice their peace just to win an argument. They will sacrifice their happiness just to defend their pride. They will stay up all night repeating conversations in their heads, imagining the perfect comeback, the perfect clapback, as if winning the battle of words will finally bring them peace. But let me tell you something. Peace is never found in proving a point. Peace is found in walking away, in rising above, in choosing calm over chaos. Think about how many times you've been in a heated conversation. Your voice is raised, your heart is racing, your mind is consumed with defending yourself. Maybe you won that argument. Maybe you got the last word. But afterward, did you really win, or did you just exhaust yourself? Did you just lose hours of your life that you'll never get back? You see, proving a point might give you a moment of satisfaction, but it robs you of long-term peace. The truth is, you don't need to prove yourself to anyone. Not to the person talking behind your back. Not to the stranger who disrespected you. Not to the family member who doesn't believe in you. Not to the critic who doubts you. Because your value doesn't come from their validation. Your truth doesn't depend on their approval. Your worth isn't decided by their opinion. So why waste time and energy trying to convince people who have already made up their minds? There's power in silence. There's wisdom in walking away. And yet, so many of us confuse that with weakness. We think if we don't fight back, if we don't defend ourselves, then people will think we're weak. But listen carefully. Strength isn't shown in how loud you can yell. Strength isn't shown in how many arguments you can win. Real strength is shown in the ability to remain calm when provoked. Real strength is shown when you have every reason to fight, but you choose peace instead. That's not weakness. That's mastery. Let me share a picture with you. Imagine two people arguing in the street. Their voices are loud, their hands are flying, they're drawing a crowd. Now imagine one of them suddenly stops. They fold their arms, they go quiet, they turn and walk away. Which person do you think looks stronger in that moment? It's the one who walked away, because anybody can fight when they're angry. Anybody can get pulled into the mud. But it takes discipline, self-control, and real confidence to say, this battle isn't worth my peace. I'm not lowering myself to that level. Ask yourself this. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be free? Because sometimes being right keeps you chained. You're chained to the argument, chained to the frustration, chained to the negativity. But when you let go, when you choose peace, you unlock yourself. You walk away lighter. You protect your energy, and you leave the other person fighting with their own shadow. Here's what many people don't realize. You don't always have to respond to be heard. You don't always have to defend yourself to prove your point. Your actions will speak louder than your words ever could. If someone says you'll never make it, don't waste time arguing. Show them through your success. If someone says you're not capable, don't spend your energy convincing them. Show them through your results. The loudest response is not your voice, it's your life. But it takes humility to live this way, because pride will scream at you. Don't let them disrespect you. Don't let them think they've won. And pride always wants revenge. Pride always wants recognition. But humility says, I don't need to prove myself to them. I know who I am. And when you know who you are, insults bounce off. Disrespect doesn't shake you. Doubt doesn't scare you. Because your peace is rooted in your own confidence, not in anyone else's approval. How many wars Big and small could be avoided if more people chose peace instead of proving a point. How many marriages would last longer? Friendships stay stronger. Workplaces feel calmer if people stop trying to win every little argument and instead ask themselves, is this worth my peace? Most of the time, the answer is no. Most of the things we fight over today, we won't even remember a year from now. So why let temporary nonsense steal your permanent peace? I'll give you an example. Imagine someone insults you on social media. You feel the heat in your chest, your fingers itching to type a reply, to clap back, to show them you're not to be messed with. You send that comment, they reply, you reply again, and now you're caught. You've just wasted an hour of your life fighting with someone you don't even know. Someone who probably doesn't even believe what they're saying. They're just looking for a reaction. And guess what? You gave it to them. You gave them your time, your focus, your peace. But imagine instead you scrolled past, you ignored, you smiled to yourself and said, not worth it. You didn't lose an hour. You didn't lose your calm. You kept your power. That is winning. And remember this, peace doesn't mean you're avoiding conflict. Peace means you're rising above conflict. It means you've grown so much internally that you no longer need to prove yourself externally. It means you've recognized that silence often speaks louder than noise. Walking away often carries more power than fighting back. And protecting your energy will always be more valuable than proving your ego. At the end of the day, your peace is your responsibility. Don't trade it for the small reward of being right. Don't sacrifice it just to feed your pride. Don't let people drag you into battles that don't matter because your time is too precious, your energy is too valuable, and your destiny is too important to be wasted on proving a point. So when life provokes you, when people test you, when your pride wants to fight back, pause, take a breath, and remind yourself, peace over pride, calm over chaos, freedom over fighting, because the greatest victory you will ever win is not over them, it's over yourself. Negativity is everywhere. You hear it in people's voices, you see it on the news, you feel it in workplaces, sometimes even in your own family. People will doubt you, criticize you, dismiss you, and sometimes even laugh at you. That's the world we live in. But here's the choice you have to make. You can let negativity drain you, or you can let it fuel you. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. And the moment you decide to turn negativity into fuel, you become unstoppable. See, most people run from negativity. They hear someone criticize them, and they shut down. They face rejection and they stop trying. They hear the word no and they give up. But successful people, strong people, resilient people, they don't run from negativity. They take it, they absorb it, and they use it as energy to push themselves forward. What was meant to hurt them ends up strengthening them. What was meant to discourage them ends up motivating them. That's the secret. Think about fire. Fire can destroy, but fire can also warm. It can light, it can cook, it can create. It all depends on how you use it. Negativity works the same way. It can burn you down or it can ignite your drive. When people tell you you can't do it, you can either sit there and believe them or you can say, thank you for the fuel. I'll show you I can. When life throws obstacles your way, you can either crumble or you can say, this challenge is going to make me stronger. It's not what happens to you, it's what you do with it that makes the difference. Every successful person has a story of using negativity as fuel. Every single one. Athletes who were told they were too small, too slow, not talented enough. Entrepreneurs who were told their ideas would never work. Leaders who were told they weren't smart enough or strong enough. If they had listened to the negativity, the world would never know their names. But instead of letting it kill their spirit, they let it sharpen them. They used every insult, every doubt, every rejection as motivation. They thought, I'll take your no and turn it into fuel for my yes. I want you to remember something. Rejection is redirection. Every door that closes, every person that doubts you, every situation that doesn't go your way is not the end. It's a test. It's life. Asking you, how bad do you want this? Are you willing to keep going even when people say you can't? Are you willing to keep moving even when no one believes in you? Negativity isn't a wall, it's a mirror. It shows you what you're made of. But here's the key. You have to train yourself to process negativity differently. Most people take it personally. They hear criticism and think, maybe they're right, maybe I'm not enough. And they let those words sink in and rot their confidence. But the truth is, criticism and negativity say more about the giver than the receiver. A person full of jealousy will project jealousy. A person full of doubt will project doubt. You don't have to take it in. You can say, that's your limitation, not mine. Instead of letting it weaken you, let it become a challenge. When someone tells you that you're not capable, let it light a fire inside you. When life knocks you down, let it give you the reason to rise stronger. Negativity doesn't have to be your enemy. It can be your greatest ally if you learn how to channel it. Think about a slingshot. To launch forward, you have to be pulled back. The tension, the resistance, the negativity, it's uncomfortable. It stretches you. It feels like you're being held down. But the very thing that feels like it's holding you back is what gives you the power to launch farther than you ever thought possible. That's how negativity works. If you don't let it break you, it will propel you. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying negativity feels good. It doesn't. Being doubted, being criticized, being insulted, it stings. But the choice is in what you do after. You can either let it sink into your heart, or you can let it slide into your fuel tank. When you reframe negativity as fuel, suddenly every insult becomes a motivator. Every doubt becomes a reason to prove them wrong. Every failure becomes a stepping stone. Here's what I want you to ask yourself. What have you been allowing negativity to do to you? Have you been letting it shrink you, silence you, stop you? Or are you ready to let it shape you, sharpen you, and strengthen you? Because the same negativity that crushes one person can create greatness in another. The difference is not in the negativity, it's in the response. Think of a diamond. Do you know how a diamond is formed? Pressure, heat, time. Without those, it remains just a piece of carbon. The same is true for you. The pressure, the criticism, the negativity, that's what turns you into who you're meant to be. Without resistance, you'll never grow. Without opposition, you'll never develop strength. Without negativity, you'll never discover how powerful you truly are. So the next time someone doubts you, don't get angry. Smile and think, thank you for the fuel. The next time someone insults you, don't get bothered. Think, you just gave me more motivation. The next time life throws something hard at you, don't collapse. Stand up and say, this is going to make me better. That's how you turn negativity into energy. That's how you rise when others fall. That's how you use what was meant to hurt you to build you instead. Because at the end of the day, negativity will never go away. There will always be critics. There will always be obstacles. There will always be doubt. But if you learn how to take that negativity and flip it into drive, you'll discover a level of strength most people never find. And once you do, you'll no longer fear negativity. You'll welcome it because you'll know every no is pushing you toward your yes. Every insult is sharpening your character, and every piece of doubt is secretly fueling your destiny. Life will always give you reasons to get angry, to be bothered, to react, to fight back, but you are not here to live at the mercy of the world. You are here to master yourself, because the truth is this: you can't always control what people do, but you can always control who you become in the process. When you choose response over reaction, you protect your power. When you learn to reframe insults, you stop carrying other people's pain. When you build emotional armor, you walk through storms without breaking. When you choose peace over proving a point, you rise above the noise. And when you turn negativity into fuel, you transform every obstacle into opportunity, every doubt into drive, every no into the reason you keep pushing toward your yes. So hear me today. Never hand over your peace. Never let anyone decide your worth. Never let the noise of the world drown out the voice of your purpose. You are stronger than the insults, bigger than the criticism, and greater than the negativity that tries to hold you back. Walk through this life with calm confidence, with unshakable peace, with the strength to rise no matter what comes your way. And when people wonder why nothing seems to bother you, when they wonder how you stay so centered, so untouchable, so grounded, you'll know the truth. It's because you decided to master yourself. And once you master yourself, no one can ever master you again. So go out there, protect your peace, guard your energy, choose your power, and live unbothered, unstoppable, and unshaken.